So welcome to the next part of the show. This is the radio show, and it has a lot of activity. Speaking of radio activity, I have from the Ukraine, we've got Anna. She's from the Chernobyl tours, and she's joining me on today's show as a special guest. First, thank you very much for coming on to the Danny Sun radio programme. It's good to have you on board.
Thank you for inviting me.
That's
always
good.
A pleasure to tell people about this unique place.
It is unique. It is one of a kind. So Chernobyl's in Ukraine. It's perhaps notable for the 1986 disaster catastrophe.
Yeah.
And you're a tour guide. You are opening up the area, the exclusion zone, to let people see the history of the place and what have you. So first up, how long have you been a tour guide?
2 years already.
So 2 years. You enjoying it?
Yeah, 2 years already. Will be at the end of this summer, and yes, mostly I bring foreigners, people from all over the world.
All over the world, welcoming everyone. What type of what languages do you speak as well for the tour?
Sorry?
What languages do you speak on the tour?
English and Spanish as well.
Oh, yeah. Very nice, very nice. And you probably get asked this question loads of times, but how safe is the zone at the moment? How safe is it?
Yeah. We like to answer safe enough.
Safe enough, yeah, that'll do. And when they visit the zone, they have the Geiger counters. And how has the Geiger counter changed over the years compared to the old Geiger counter?
Yeah, it's not like you cross the border of the zone and straight away the Geiger counter starts, beeping, making that noise. Not really, because, radiation does not have any physical borders, let's say. But there are some places, we call them hotspots in the zone, where the levels of radiation are a little bit more higher. Yeah. But in general, the area is quite safe. People live there, people work there. More than 3,000 of people still work in the zone. So It's really safe.
Sure. So on the Geiger counter, what's the levels where it starts kind of like going not crazy? What level does it kind of go crazy at?
You see the sanitary level for Ukraine and for most of the countries all over the world will be 0.30 microsieverts per hour. This is like a normal background.
Yeah.
In the zone, sometimes there are 0.10, which is 3 times less. And the maximum I've seen was about 500 microsieverts.
So,
but this is like a small areas, like a fingernail, where you can find like high levels.
Yeah.
And since we talk about gamma radiation, so all these scientists, they say that, if we talk about gamma, so the farther you go and the less time you spend, the better is for you. So if you're not close enough, and you spend few minutes, let's say, or even few hours, it's okay. Yes, so time and distance. Yeah. This is
fine. Thanks for that one. So on your tours as well, you do like packages as well. Can you do overnight stays as well in the zone?
Oh yeah, that's the most amazing thing. That's what every guide loves because you can stay overnight in Chernobyl town. There are 2 hotels and hostel only for tourists. They are all the time full of people, overbooked, and this is a good experience because you don't leave the zone, you stay inside, so you have more time to see the zone, to explore it, and yes, it's a good experience.
Sure. And the media, newspapers, film, TV, do they portray Chernobyl as kind of like a foreboding place, like frightening? Is it anything like how they say it is?
Yeah, I don't like the idea because we also traveling all over the world, visiting like international exhibitions. We've been to UK, London, you have Excel. So people like to say that Chernobyl tours or Chernobyl zone is kind of dark tourism. I don't really like this idea. We don't speak about Chernobyl zone and disaster only as about some dark part of our story. We like to say that we talk here not only about tragedy, we talk here about the big victory, because according to all the calculations, almost 1 million of so-called liquidators. That's how we call them, people who participated in a cleanup process, liquidating the consequences of Chernobyl disaster. And there were almost 1 million people. So they did their job good enough. And only because of these people, we are here in the zone nowadays without any respirators, without any special clothes, breathing this air, smiling, making jokes in the place of the biggest nuclear disaster ever happened. And this is a big victory. So we really like to liquidate still consequences of this disaster, but already in the hands of people, you know, in the minds of people, because still in our country, when you say Chernobyl, people are so frightened and they're like, oh my God, Chernobyl, we don't go, mutation, you know, two-head dogs, three-eye fish, I don't know. And this is not really like that, because the zone now is like a national park where, you know, wildlife came back, where deers, wolves, you know, bears just walking everywhere. And it looks much, much better without people, even with some, you know, high levels of radiation once in a while.
Thank you very much for clearing that up. And how's the wildlife doing at the moment? Is it still thriving, the wildlife in the zone? The animals.
It's also a good experience. It's not like, you know, zoo on a wheel, our bus, but really often driving with the tourists on our bus, we see, for example, wild horses. They are called Przewalski horse. So in the whole planet Earth, about 1,000 only of them are left. So this is a very rare horse. And the only one place in Ukraine where they could survive, Chernobyl zone. Yeah. So they started multiplying after disaster, not before, because people left the area and they feel quite good. So 150 of those guys are still living in the zone, and we see them all the time. They just eat the grass, you know, on both sides of the road.
Fascinating. And the recent fire, how has that been? Has that all cleared up? Has that calmed down the fire you had in April? The recent fire you had?
The fire luckily already stopped, but it took 30% of all the woods, of all the forests, and this is honestly the biggest disaster for us. So 12 villages completely gone. Some of them were the part of our tours and multi-day tours. We were visiting those places, like there was one kids summer camp, so it's gone now. So yeah, it's a big disaster. We never had such a big fire before. This is the biggest one, because actually every year we have a fire in the zone. It's a huge area, 2,600 square kilometers, like the size of Luxembourg, but we never had such a big fire. Like every year something happens, but such a big fire we never had before. So this is the big disaster for us. But even now, in those like burnt woods, we already see deers, we already see mooses and those horses, which is mean that they didn't leave the territory. They still trying to survive. They didn't leave their places, which is good, good. So we hope that, you know, nature will always find the way. So.
Yeah, cool. And you had the arch built a few years back as well, the big arch which shields the main reactor. Has that been a really good boost to kind of stop the radiation from getting out?
You see the arch, as we call it, or new safe confinement, or new sarcophagus. It has a lot of names. Yeah, it's really helpful. I mean, right now we are standing with the tourists about 300 meters away from the arch, and the level of radiation is 3-4 times less than it used to be without the arch. Yeah, wow. But more or less, the idea of the arch right now is just to keep all the tiny particles inside of it, because sarcophagus, which is the previous shelter, is about to collapse, let's say. It was not really, perfect from the very beginning. So the idea of the arch is just to keep everything inside. Yes, so it's like a capsule, let's say.
Yeah.
And temporary solution for us only, because the arch will last for about 100 of years, and no idea what to do later.
Yeah.
Most likely that after 100 of years we will have to build another arch, and we like to joke that here after 100 of years we'll create like radioactive matryoshka, Russian matryoshka, because no solution for us. No one in this world knows how to deal with all that radioactive fuel, radioactive waste that we have inside of the arch, because the world never faced such a problem. So it's like a temporary solution only.
Sure.
But yeah.
Cool. And finally, I just wanted to ask a question. Chernobyl, is that translates as Wormwood into Russian? Is that correct?
Yeah, correct. That's correct because there are rumors or like a good fairy tale that Chernobyl, because if you literally will try to translate the word Chernobyl, Cherno, it's black in Ukrainian, Byl, story that truly happened. So some people say that black story that truly happened, this is the meaning of Chernobyl word. But these are only rumors, nothing like that. Really, the name of the plant of wormwood in Ukrainian is Chernobylnik, and this is growing everywhere in that area. So yeah, the word Chernobyl comes from that wormwood.
So a little bit of a myth. Well, thank you very much for telling us all about Chernobyl, and hopefully I'll can get over to your zone sometime soon.
Yeah, by the way, just to tell you that UK is #1 country in the zone.
Great
stuff. Most of the visitors, they come from UK.
Wonderful. And what's your website as well, so people can have a look at your
yeah,
tours?
that's chernobyltour.com.
Chernobyltour.com. Thank you very much, Anna. It's been a pleasure speaking with you today.
Thank you.
Have a great Monday. Thank you very much.
Thanks.